Tonight in Vienna, Austria, they're not talking about Taylor Swift's ability to fill up stadiums with thousands of fans. Instead, they're talking about the two suspects who were allegedly planning to kill those fans, as many as possible. Officials say they prevented an Islamist terror attack by canceling 3 sold-out Taylor Swift concerts scheduled for this week in Vienna. 2 suspects were arrested Tuesday, and authorities say both were radicalized by so-called Islamic State. The main suspect, a 19-year-old, has reportedly confessed to planning to use knives and explosives outside the stadium to kill as many people as possible.
Taylor Swift's concerts in Vienna have been cancelled, but its streets are still filled with her music. Many of her fans travelled from other countries to see her on stage in a stadium, but are now singing and dancing in the city centre as they console each other.
I live in Seattle, Washington, 9-hour time difference, and yeah, I woke up at, I think it was 3 a.m. to try to get the tickets for here, and then one of us in our family got them, and yeah, we've been looking forward to it for, I don't know, like 9 months or so.
I'm devastated as well. I've been waiting for more than a year for this. I made outfits and everything with my friends, and it's really just sad.
The event's organisers were expecting around 65,000 fans to attend each of the 3 sold-out concerts, as well as tens of thousands to gather outside the stadium each evening. But Austrian police discovered plans to commit a large-scale terror attack at one of the events, forcing them to cancel all 3. They arrested 2 teenagers and are questioning a third. The main suspect, a 19-year-old Austrian citizen, had pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. He confessed his plans.
He stated that he wanted to carry out the attack using explosives and weapons with which to cut and stab people. We also recovered those weapons. He was considering both options, and his aim was to kill himself and a large crowd at the concert either today or tomorrow. In addition, we seized a large amount of Islamic State propaganda material, 21,000 euros of counterfeit money, steroid-like substances, machetes, knives and blank ammunition.
In the wake of the foiled terror plot, Austria's Chancellor Karl Nehammer has called on the National Security Council to step up security measures.
I want to go now to Vienna and speak with Franziska Schwarz. She's a reporter for Pulse 24. It's good to have you with us. So it turns out that this was way more than just a threat that led to the cancellation of these concerts. I mean, what do we know? What have Austrian authorities found out and revealed about this plot?
So today, the Austrian authorities confirmed that they have found chemicals for building bombs at the main suspect's house. They arrested him yesterday, and they also found weapons for stabbing people, like machetes and knives, as well as a fake police siren. So from that, they concluded that this would have maybe been the way to get in and out with a fake police siren, as well as propaganda material by ISIS and Al-Qaeda. So they confirmed a lot of the things that were already going around yesterday. And another big new piece of information was that the second suspect, the 17-year-old, was actually working close to the concert venue, and they arrested this person next to it.
Austria's interior minister said that a tragedy has been averted. If you could put that in perspective for us, I mean, how many people would have been in attendance if these concerts had taken place? I mean, we're talking, obviously, you have to be talking about a lot of young people, a lot of teenagers.
Yes, it's approximately between 180 and 200,000 people, because outside of the venue, the Stadion in Vienna, there's a big park. So today at the press conference, the interior minister actually said they were expecting approximately 20,000 more people than the venue holds, so 80,000 per night outside the venue. And this was also a major security concern because at the concerts of Taylor Swift, people are lining up very early.
That's right.
And the Austrian authorities were already saying we didn't know how this would turn out if 60,000 people would start lining up while there was an ongoing terror investigation.
And Franziska, do we know, have we found out from authorities what tipped them off to this plot to kill people?
It was foreign intelligence services, which is something that happens often in Austria. So for the last few big terrorist threats, it was always foreign intelligence services, because in Austria, the local authorities are not able to surveil digital communication. And this is also a big topic of debate by the government, but also just a big question in Austria in general about how much surveillance would be allowed.
Yeah, well, luckily a disaster was averted, and we're talking about what could have been or what could have happened. Journalist Franziska Schwarz from Puls 24 in Vienna. We appreciate your reporting. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I want to bring in now entertainment journalist KJ Matthews in Los Angeles. KJ, good to see you. First things first, has Taylor Swift spoken publicly or issued a statement about the plot or her canceled shows?
So far, she has not issued a statement, nor has her team issued a statement. As we already know, as you just heard, she's scheduled to resume her Eras Tour in the UK on August the 15th, which is 1 week from today. But so far, she has not issued a statement. We're expecting something to be issued probably within the next 24 hours.
We know that this kind of alleged terror attack has been and remains Taylor Swift's biggest fear, don't we?
Yes, back in 2019, she did an interview with Elle magazine, and she said, after the attack that happened in Manchester with singer Ariana Grande, where more than 20 people were killed, and then, of course, Jason Aldean, when he was performing in Las Vegas, she saw those attacks, and she said that's her worst fear, to have something happen to all of the people who come and see her touring over the next 7 months. So she kind of had a premonition and was always scared in the back of her mind, wondering how to keep all of her fans safe over her 7-month Eras Tour.
And, like you said, she's scheduled to perform next week in London. And, I mean, you can't block out the reality of what could have happened in Vienna. I mean, what does this mean then for the rest of her tour moving forward?
She comes back to the U.S. after doing about 5 dates in the UK, and then she goes to Canada, and that's it. That wraps up her international tour. So really the only other international date she has is in the UK and also in Canada. But what people are starting to talk about here in Hollywood is that in another 2 weeks, we have the Democratic National Convention, where we will have many celebrities that will probably be descending on Chicago to support Kamala Harris in her presidential bid. And many people have been talking about whether or not we might see people like Taylor Swift or people like Beyonce, who people are assuming support her because she's lended her music to be used, whether or not those two people might show up at the DNC. So that throws another kind of monkey wrench into the situation. So as we know, security will be extremely tight in Chicago moving forward, especially in light of what happened in Austria.
Yep, and this has to be a reality check, not only for stars like Beyonce, Taylor Swift, but also for the security apparatus around their concerts. I mean, according to the authorities in Vienna in Austria, the main suspect in this case had planned to stand outside of the stadium and maybe use an explosive to kill as many people there. So he was going to kill people who were simply waiting to get in. I mean, that's something that everyone who's on stage has to be worried about now.
Right. I think going forward, it's like something happens and then we change the rules. And so, of course, Swifties were known for being outside. The people who could not be fortunate enough to buy tickets to go inside were often allowed to be outside and watch it from the big screens. I think moving forward, you might not see as much of that happening. There might be some kind of barrier that protects people from going inside. And of course, a lot more metal detectors. And I'm also hearing that you'll probably hear a lot more security what security checks, that is, when it comes to hiring people to work as security or to work inside any stadium where there's going to be a concert. So a lot of things are probably going to be changing moving forward.
Yes or no? Do you think she'll go back to Vienna to play again?
I don't know. I'm hearing that she's giving refunds to everybody, so that doesn't look positive. The refund thing is kind of a dead giveaway that probably not.
Yeah, good point. KJ Matthews in Los Angeles. As always, KJ, good talking with you. Thank you.
Thank you.